for instance, if you compare his speech when he addressed delegates in Abeokuta, it was some sort of a twist from how his campaign has evolved in the coming months. Many were troubled that the feathers were being ruffled, particularly the body language from the presidency and the party leadership. But we didn't hear much of that when he spoke to delegates. Do you think it's a matter of that issue being resolved before the actual voting kick started? What do you think happened there?
Well, I think at a point, a good leader should be courageous enough to express his mind in the loudest manner for people to understand. And I think that speech was a reminder of the history of APC, how APC was formed, and now the contributions that individuals made to the emergence of the APC, to the alliance, and also to the emergence of President Muhammad Buhari. So I think that message in Abeokuta is resonated. It brought back the memory that, look, we should not forget about where we are coming from. So I think it was an historic intervention which was calculated to steer the mind of APC. And I think people got the message, that look, even if you are not in APC at that time, when you listen to that speech, which was a statement of fact anyway, I believe it was not the question of resolution, but a question of the fact that people's conscience was, he was able to touch people's conscience, and they realized that, look, what this man is saying is true. And he was not just the only one there. He had, formidable figures, people like the governor of, Kano State. So he was not actually speaking for himself alone. He was speaking for a formidable bloc within the APC. He was representing their interest. He was speaking on their behalf. And I also think he was speaking on behalf of millions of Nigerians who are part in one way or the other, who are also involved, in the process of, forming an alliance and then ensuring the emergence of. So I think that speech was a popular speech that was put forward on behalf of Nigerians. And I think the leadership got that message.
It's a season of speeches and press briefing, because we saw the presidency also reacting to that particular speech through Garba Shehu, who made a statement to that effect. There were many who were a bit disturbed that that the risk was high that Asiwaju could have offended the president by the things he said. But would you say that, with the benefit of hindsight now, that that was the right thing to have said at that time, if the suspicion of the arrangement of a consensus was in the pipeline for the APC?
This question is quite hypothetical. It's difficult for me to say that those remarks he made in Abeokuta, that it was right to make those remarks. Yes, it constituted some form of risk to his goal of becoming the standard bearer, the presidential standard bearer of the APC. But when you read the reaction of David Babajide Lawal, you tend to think that, this was an Asiwaju scoring an own goal, that, Asiwaju had destroyed himself by these remarks. The North will turn against Asiwaju because of these remarks. David Babajide Lawal said all kinds of things that got many people worried. But the truth is, he does not speak for the North. And the outcome of these primaries showed clearly that the North was not bothered by what Asiwaju said.
Or perhaps the
president himself was not bothered.
That's right.
If the president was bothered, the reaction would have been different. And the good thing is, for someone like the senior special assistant on special duties to the president, Darazo, for him to have come out to say, look, there's no big deal about those remarks, that even the president once said something that people took out of context. It completely poured cold water on what Asiwaju said in Abeokuta, and it kind of made many people who were already trying to press the alarm button, it made them to slow down, it made them to calm down. And ultimately, my friends, some of my friends who are close to both parties said that Asiwaju even tried to apologize, and the president said, no, there's no need for that. Look, if the president felt very bad about what Asiwaju said, he probably wouldn't even attend yesterday's event. People try to make a mountain out of a molehill. But just as Adewale said, sometimes you will do something and it will turn out like a blessing in disguise. I remember the tweet by Governor El-Rufai's son. He said, from the look of things, if this man is not given this ticket, this party will split into two. Some people are already looking at the danger.
The APC will not be the same again.
Yes, because my own argument all along had been, let the people slug it out on the field. Do not impose anyone. Because my suspicion has clearly now even been confirmed. My suspicion all along was that if they came up with a consensus arrangement, one of the most unpopular candidates will be the beneficiary. And that's what we have seen. If an individual could score 1,271 out of just 2,200
plus
2,203 or so that were accredited, that means that whoever you gave the ticket to outside of that man that scored that huge number, what is scored is higher than what the rest of them put together scored.
Absolutely.
That means you will have rewarded
an unpopular
somebody not even popular with his party. You will have rewarded him with the ticket. That was what some of us didn't want to see, because it's not democracy at the end of the day. So Asiwaju may have said that thing, and I'm sure he must have told himself that I probably shouldn't have said this. But at the end of the day, they still work for good, because that threat that people didn't see, they started seeing it. And those who didn't think that, those who thought that, those who had this fear that Asiwaju was going to be brushed aside for somebody else rewarded with the ticket of the party, the way the man complained made many of them to now say, oh, so this thing is real. So this plot is actually real. And I'm happy that the governors, the northern governors especially, effectively destroyed that plot.